So if you look at the shoe industry as a whole right now, I don't care if you're talking about technology, function, design, performance, really whatever. In terms of what is driving it forward, to me, it's the basketball shoe space right now. And there are a few reasons for that, but I think the most important one is that basketball shoes span literally the entire shoe industry, all the way over here, people that are just obsessed with performance. They want every ounce of performance they can get on court. All the way over to here, people that want the ultimate comfort, just want a casual shoe. You see just as many people wearing basketball shoes casually as you do on court. And so the industry is just so wide and so vast, and there's so many opportunities for so many companies to make basketball shoes. The audience is just enormous. And so you see the bigger legacy companies like Nike and Adidas with just these enormous R&D budgets, also enormous marketing budgets, really making some interesting designs. And then on the other side of it, you've got these relatively new and relatively smaller companies spun up by a lot of the ex-engineers of these companies. They take their talents, and now you've got this shoe design race going on that is just producing some absolutely wild models of shoes, and we've never had more choice. But with that choice comes a lot of duds. And so in this video, I'm gonna give you 5, and it was actually kind of hard to do, but I did distill this video down into 5 pretty popular basketball shoes I see a lot of my patients wearing, see a lot of just in general people wearing, that you probably should avoid and what to buy instead. Because like I said, there's so much choice out there. There is no reason that you shouldn't be able to have just an absolutely phenomenal product on foot. So let's get into it. All right, so the first shoe on this list, I might as well satisfy the thumbnail, is the Nike LeBron 23. And it absolutely just pains me to put this shoe on the list, mainly because the LeBron 20, 21, to a certain extent the 22, were some of the easiest shoes for me to recommend. I probably recommended that shoe more than just about any other, save for the New Balance two-way line during those years it was out. It was available everywhere. It was so easy for me to recommend. It was so good for so many people. And then they just had to go and change it because it was the number 23. And in this one, number 1, it's a drop-in midsole, so the shoe feels long but functions short. The drop-in is just narrow in all the wrong places. The grip on them is so weird, and it even has a hole. I mean, you can even see the stitching in the back. This shoe is so expensive, and then they expose the stitching here in the back. The shape of them is just weird. The containment is weird. The uppers, it's just, this shoe just like it's a shoe without a country, right? It just has, to me, not a lot of purpose to it, right? It doesn't have any of the good aspects of a drop-in. It doesn't have any of the good aspects of a more maximalist shoe. But if you're like me and are looking to replace the 23s with what you loved so much about the 20s to the 22s, best shoe right now on the market for that is the Asics Swift Ace Yuki. That is one of the most high quality basketball shoes. Number 1 for performance, comfort, protection on foot that I have really ever tested. And yeah, it's around a similar price point as the LeBrons. It has the same philosophy of the LeBrons: premium materials, premium performance, premium comfort, but it actually delivers on all of those promises. To me, it's everything that the LeBron 23 should be. So this next shoe, honestly, I was a little bit higher up on, and I've started to sour on these shoes just because the more and more research that is coming out, the more we're seeing that you can only make a shoe so stiff, right? So over the last, I'd say 7, 8 years, we've been seeing basketball shoe companies basically just see how stiff we can make a shoe, how much carbon fiber we can put into a shoe, how much bounce, pop, diving board effect can we put into a shoe? How high can you see somebody jump? And although, yes, there are incredible performance characteristics of these shoes, and they're borrowing technology from running shoes and the coupling of the foot with the running shoe and getting all that efficiency from the shoe. And so, yes, there are some very interesting performance capabilities of these shoes, but they're just getting a little bit too stiff for the movement of basketball. And so this shoe, the next one on this list, is the Leaning JB4. Now, the JB4 is incredibly well built. The uppers are amazing. The posit technology, I think, is better than Nike's. The foam uppers. The flange on them is amazing. I really like the outsole. It's just the midsole is so stiff. It's so stiff feeling underfoot. And unlike running, where you've got the pre-bent carbon fiber plate, the thermoplastic foam, and you got it, pretty tight toe box, You got the coupling of the foot with the shoe, and it gives you a much more efficient strike. That is just going front, just going forwards, right? There's no side-to-side movement, there's no stepping back. There's not a lot of compensatory mechanisms you need in your foot. What you want your foot to do is basically just act as a hinge, right? When you're in a super shoe like the Vaporflies, the Alpha Flies, right? The Adios, those type of shoes. In basketball, you need a lot more compensation from your foot joints because you're doing so many non-standard movements. And so yes, if you were just running up and down a basketball court and jumping, then these would be okay. And even at that, there's a little bit of abnormal, there's some abnormal shock in there. And so interestingly enough, if you're looking to replace these with something with that good diving board effect, interestingly enough, Li Ning is the parent company of Way of Wade, but the Way of Wade 12 gives a lot of the same benefits of the JB4, but it's just a little bit easier on your feet. Over time, I'd say if you're looking to replace these, replace them with the Wade 12. All right, so the next shoe on this list should be a surprise to absolutely nobody who's watched this channel for any length of time, and that is the Nike Jaw 3. Now, the biggest reason for this is the Zoom X scrap-like foam on the bottom of the shoe. So you have what's already a kind of an unstable foam in Zoom X, and now it's basically just Zoom X scrap that's glued together on the bottom of the shoe. So number one, there's the potential for delamination, so then the shoe just starts shearing back and forth on the bottom. There's no lateral flange. The uppers of them are incredibly flexible. You got that weird plastic that's in the uppers. It bends really awkwardly in the midfoot. It just crumples underfoot. And so you've got just about the most unstable foam you can think of when you put in them, and then you have no containing elements on the top. I know they look cool, I know they're fast, I know they're incredibly nimble shoes, but just because you walk across a busy highway a couple of times and don't get hit doesn't mean it's not dangerous. That's how I kind of feel about the Jaw 3. They're gonna feel pretty speedy and nimble underfoot until something happens. Now the good news is, if you're looking to replace that really bouncy, nimble, agile feeling of the Jaw 3, you can pretty much go grab any serious player only shoe. They also are super nimble, super agile. They have a ton of pop, plus you just customize the midsole to whatever you want in them, right? So you can, I think serious player only, it's interesting. And I tried a lot of the serious player only shoes well before the Jaw 3s came out. And when the Jaw 3 came out and I got it on foot for a while, I thought to myself, this is basically like serious player only light. It's like, it's the serious player only if it didn't have the best aspects of all the serious player only shoes. So if you're looking for the Jaw 3, if you're looking, like I said, if you're looking for those aspects of the Jaw 3, you're looking to replace them, basically the world is your oyster in terms of the serious player only website. Really anything on there is gonna give you, like I said, the best parts of the Jaw 3 without some of the downsides. All right, so the next shoe is the Under Armour Flow line. I guess specifically now the Fox line of shoes. Honestly, I'm just so sick of trying to justify flow foam, that the juice is worth the squeeze. Now that in the last couple years, rubber technology and cast polyurethane technology have gotten so much better in terms of outsoles. If you can keep this flow foam pristine, right, keep it wiped down all the time, and you play on pristine indoor hardwood courts, then sure, these have a very interesting traction profile. They grip incredibly well. The surface area contact is great. But number one, they're not durable by any stretch of the imagination, like all these new rubbers we're getting, like all these new polyurethane outsoles we're getting that are super durable. Plus they give you durable traction even with dust, right? Even if they get dust on them, they still can grip through it. And with Under Armour, it's like, I get it. If you can just keep using your bag, you got to treat them like a Fabergé egg to get them to work. And so, whereas a few years ago, where this was just something different you could have and it was a different philosophy, I just feel like rubber and polyurethane now have just kind of taken this over. And so there is nothing wrong with everything else in these shoes. From the midsole up, they're phenomenal, especially with the forefoot leaflets. If you want that, a little more flexibility, it's great. It's just that you just gotta just get rid of the flow. It's enough. I understand that Steph Curry thought it was cool and then he won it on his shoes and it became a novelty and he got used to it so he could use it, but it's just, maybe with him leaving, maybe with Kelsey Plum leaving, it's just time for a new philosophy at Under Armour and maybe start with scrapping the flow. So I was on my soapbox, I forgot to tell you what shoes I replaced these with. Number one, if you're looking for just the grip, right? Like you want the crazy initial grip that Flow gives you, the Asics Swift Ace Yuki and the Way of Wade 10 Low are the other ones that get up to the level of Flow foam. If you're looking for something with that bottom light feeling that Flow gives you, and you want to look at the 361 BioSpeed BB or the Leaning Gamma. All right, so for this last shoe, I'm going to give you a little bit of a timeline first, and make sure to go pause and comment down below if you think I am wrong on this timeline, but this is how I see it. The Nike GT Cut 1 was an absolute revolution in shoes. It was so different, and you may like that philosophy or not, but you had to give it up to Nike. They made one incredible shoe with that. The GT Cut 2 was just a bunch of technology thrown together, hoping something would stick as you threw it against the wall. And it just was weird, didn't really have any function or purpose whatsoever. The Nike GT Cut 3 was pretty cool, but super unstable, and it had a lot of great aspects. But then the GT Cut 3 Turbo came out, and that was pretty cool. That was they still are making it, that is a great shoe. I mean, it kind of has all the best aspects of the GT Cut 3, but it just has enough stability that enough people can extract all the great performance benefits out of it. They took it from the drop-in to just regular shoe, so it fits more people. And then the GT Cut 4 came along, and it looks wild, and it looks cool, and it's one of the worst shoes I've ever put on foot. It is the most uncomfortable shoe in terms of the uppers, the collar, underfoot, how it scrunches you into the toe box. It's unstable. It's just like, it feels like to me the GT Cut 4 took the worst aspects of the 1 and the 2 and just combined it into one shoe. But then took all the coolest aspects of all of like Nike's like design philosophy. So it looks cool and it just functions just horrifically. And so, it's interesting. Nike still has a ton of GT Cut 3 models still available. So if you're looking to replace it, I would just replace it with, honestly, the GT Cut 3 Turbo. Honestly, that's such a great shoe. If you're looking for a drop-in to replace it with, the 808 from Way of Wade, absolutely fantastic. Once again, any of the series player only drop-ins are absolutely fantastic. There's so many good drop-in midsole shoes out there right now if that's what you want. Nike's still making the GT Cut 1. They're like, I did a video at Foot Locker. They got a ton of them in there. And so there's enough to replace these with it. Honestly, I feel like we can just forget that this one happened and move on to the 5s. All right, that's it for me. Let me know if you think I'm wrong in the comments down below, and let me know what shoes you have had some bad luck with in the past and what shoes you replace them with, so that way the comment section becomes a nice repository for people to maybe get some good buying advice. So let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see what shoes I thought were the best that I could find at my local Foot Locker, it's a pretty fun video, make sure you click into this video right here. I'll see you in the next one.